Hi, Amy. Welcome to Coaches on a Mission. We made it.
Hi, Dallas. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad you're here. So, before we get to coaching, I'd love to just check in. How are things going for you inside the hive?
Well, I've been in since it's been about 7 months or so.
Okay. Yeah.
And I have to say, I mean, you always had me from habits. You at one point very early, I heard you say that habits are sexy and,
Mhm.
building a business and doing these things using habits. Which we'll learn is really my love language and how I serve people, and it's in the name of my
Totally.
podcast and all the things. So when I find in the hive that I'm looking for something, it really is I need to go back and start building the habits. So I feel very led and grounded in that, and the people are just unmatched. So it's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I agree. The people are unmatched. We opened our Facebook group back up. So,
Mhm.
for our listeners, we did an experiment, and Mark Zuckerberg's evil plan to keep everyone on Facebook is working. So, we moved our platform off of Facebook, but came back yesterday, and everyone's just so happy to be
Well,
back together again, right?
and I never had Facebook before starting a business. And
Hmm.
so when you asked us for our feedback, I think my exact response was, "Wow, I never thought I would say this, but I think I will be more engaged in Facebook just because I have it open for other things." And yeah, he won.
That was the number one piece of feedback we got. Literally, I never thought I'd be saying this, but please go back to Facebook. So,
Yeah. And I think I've already shared and posted and responded to two or three things in a
yeah,
day. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So it's good to be there.
nice.
Okay. Um, Gosh, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. It's been a minute since we agreed that you'd come on the show, and I think our topic has even evolved a little bit since I first invited you to come on the show. So I'm excited to dig in. Can you share with our listeners what you want to take away from our time together today?
I would love to leave with some clarity and a confidence in my offer and the way that I am going to serve my people moving forward. Um,
Okay,
I'll, I'll share with you some of what that has entailed up until this point, but
good.
it's really starting to formulate in my head, and I'm getting some of those feels of, oh, this is a heck yes offer, meaning, my confidence and what I've learned over
Mm.
the past couple of years. And so just kind of talking through that as I step into it would be amazing.
Great. So let's get you clear and confident on the offer for the best way for you to serve your audience moving forward. I think it's going to be helpful if you gave me and everyone listening some context. So take us through the evolution and then we'll look into the future.
Okay. Okay. So just I'll include a little bit about my story just because it makes sense in
Mhm.
terms of how I'm coming at this, second career of coaching. I have been a pharmacist in a healthcare setting for uh, 15 plus years. And about 5 years ago, started getting the itch of, I want to start working with people in this capacity, in this coaching capacity. I live with multiple sclerosis, an autoimmune disease, and really have experienced firsthand as a client of coaching just
Mm.
the amazing power that our mindset as well as our habits and all the things that we do lifestyle wise, what it can do living with a disease that can be, chronic, debilitating, progressive. Some pretty scary words are associated with autoimmune disease. And
Mhm.
so I felt that firsthand. I still do. I still invest in coaching, and I just knew that I wanted to help others explore and do the same. And so never having the intent right away to leave pharmacy. And
Yeah.
so when I look at kind of how my business evolved, it looks a little bit different. And I think that's because I really want to serve people while also still working in pharmacy in some capacity.
Mhm.
So over the past couple of years, I've worked one on one with clients, and I still do, and I love it. but just from a time standpoint, I'm strapped for time. And so I also love to teach, and I feel like I have a unique perspective with my background in conventional medicine and my education. And so really stepping into this sweet spot of um, teaching, coaching, and that lends well to a group. And
Yeah,
so I put together a 10-week course called Autoimmune Academy, and I have run that course twice in the past couple of years with amazing success in terms of the feedback from the people that went through it.
great.
Not massive number success, but just from the process. And so I have done that course. Then I kind of thought, well, we have these diseases for life. So
Mhm.
a membership and, a lower cost to entry may be an amazing offering for people who want to experience coaching that maybe otherwise wouldn't. So I really put a lot of my efforts into starting a membership. And the membership is up and running again um, with modest numbers, and I'm finding challenges with the membership as well. So it kind
Mhm.
of course, and nothing that was a surprise to me,
Yeah.
um, but it's kind of just floating in my brain. Some having done a couple different ways, I'm really starting to get clear on what does what do my people need, and um, that's starting to become more clear.
Yeah. Okay. Can you share a little bit? I find this so interesting. Share a little bit about this is a two-part question. Part one, what was behind your decision to shift it to a membership? I don't want to make any assumptions. And I know we've talked about this, but I want our listeners to hear. And then can you talk a little bit about what feels challenging about the membership?
So the decision to go to a membership, I think partially was I'm in a membership as a
Mhm.
coaching client. And I love the kind of constant ability to get new ideas and learn new things and work on different things. And so I think I thought that maybe other people would crave more of that kind of ongoing support.
Yeah.
I also would have calls with people who, they may not have been in a place to be curious enough about coaching to invest in the cost of a course or an upfront investment. And so there
Mhm.
was a little bit of thinking I was meeting them where they were at with a more accessible option
In terms of pricing. Got it.
in
Okay.
pricing.
Yeah. So what's been tricky about the membership?
What's been tricky is despite all the guidance inside the membership of what learning there is, and people at different levels or not quite all consuming the same baseline or foundational um, information that really sets them up for success on how we're going to work together.
Mhm. Yes. So it's yeah, you're so like with a course, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. With private clients, it's such an intimate relationship that you know where they're at all times. And with a membership, it's harder to come up with that core shared language, that core shared foundation, to use your word before people move on. And the other thing, Amy, I don't know if you know this about yourself, but what I've observed is you are a bit of a unicorn. Right? You are very you're nodding. For our listeners, she's nodding, right? You are an extremely curious person. You love learning. You're very diligent about how you spend your time. So you can self-regulate really well inside of a membership where others may become disinterested or overwhelmed or scattered. You are naturally such a linear person that I could see you doing really well in a membership.
Yeah, that's a good point. And in terms of not everybody approaches it with this.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I'm going to plan ahead, and this is going to be my habit. That I'm going to, you know,
Yeah.
do that type of thing. And the other challenge with the membership really is, I don't have a huge following, and I don't, have massive numbers in terms of really getting eyeballs on the membership and getting them,
Yeah.
members in.
Yeah. So for it's just not really right now anyhow, it sounds like it's not sustainable for the business to have a membership because of the it's an accessible price point, but it's not a lot of people inside. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what I want to just narrate here is how client-centered you are being as you continue to evolve your offers. And when we center the client, it kind of can it can mean starting over, right? Or being in this evolution, but that's important if we're really going to serve people. But it can also quiet some of the noise. So I just want to acknowledge you for being client centered as you shift the offer again. Let's dig into your offer. What questions do you have for me around offer 3.0?
Offer 3.0, yes,
Hmm.
you're right. It's this mentality of everything I've done has led to this versus, oh, I'm not doing that. I mean, I look at the content and the work, and I think it all has its role. But what I'm thinking is because of the momentum and the benefit of going through that course together live,
Hmm.
I am now thinking that I would like to, I'm thinking 3 times a year would be feasible to really set up. These are the dates that this 10-week course takes place, and really um, try to. I think you used the term cohorts before, but really
Hmm.
try to get people in during that period so that we can go on that journey together.
Yep.
From that, from the people who have gone through the course in the past on the feedback, I asked the question, in an ideal world, how would I continue to serve you? And consistently, it's some flavor of, having monthly check-ins or having a place to come. And you know, that is why the other part of where the membership comes in is I would love when the course is over to be able to continue to offer a place where people can come, and kind of the 3 C's of my membership are coaching, community, and a curriculum. And so I would like to be able to continue offering that on the back end of the course in
Hmm.
a membership format, because things change with autoimmune diagnoses. It could be a new symptom. It could be just a time and a season that, people want to go all in on their health, or life happens.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I have a clarifying question here. Let me reflect what I'm hearing. You're looking at moving to a launch model, essentially, where 3 times a year you will open up a cohort and where everyone begins is inside of the 10-week autoimmune academy.
Yes.
So, am I signing up for the autoimmune academy? And then at the end of that, I'll have the option to join the membership? Or am I signing up for the membership and it begins, and the autoimmune academy essentially lives inside of the membership?
I was thinking the latter.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I even think that the membership could potentially be open for those. Let's say they find me in between and
Hmm.
get on a call, and they want to be able to get started, and they know the date of when the next live course is coming. I think that there could be a world that the membership, I still want it to be extremely valuable in between. I still want to show up every week and continue with that community coaching and curriculum, um, and make it, where it is a habit for those who thrive in a membership in that way.
Got it. So there is the opportunity for evergreen enrollment into the membership. And then 3 times a year inside the membership, you're going to go through the autoimmune academy together. And if
Mhm.
I've been in the membership for 2 years and I just really want to go deeper or have a bit of a reset or a recommitment, I'm welcome to join. But you'll use this event inside the membership as the reason for new people to come in.
Absolutely. And I
Okay.
love the way you said that as well, like as a reminder, where if you've been through before, come on back through, because that's, a big thing I offer is keeping up with the science of autoimmune health so that you don't
Yeah.
have to. You know, there
Yeah.
is so much, and that is my jam. And
Mhm.
you know, my PharmD training, you know, if nothing else, has set me up for how to interpret literature, how to really boil down. There is all this overwhelming amount of science and, oh, do this, do that. Well, what does that really mean for you? And
Mhm.
I one time had a client who, I loved it. She said, you know, in terms of why she chose me as her coach, and she's like, you have skin in the game. She's like, I can trust that, you know, you're living with
Right.
these diagnoses, and you're doing it, and it is so true.
Yeah.
I'm doing this work, and just, you know, am on a mission to share it in a way that is
Mhm.
approachable and simple for people.
Mhm. Mhm. I love this idea. I
Okay.
love this idea so much because I see a world where the membership really doesn't have to be very curriculum led. You've got the core content in the membership, which is the Autoimmune Academy.
Hmm.
Right, and then perhaps when and if you need to drop another training, you can, but sometimes a mistake a lot of us make with memberships, I know I did when I had one, was just assuming, "Oh, it's a new month, that means I've gotta cook up a new training," and it's all this stuff we're throwing at people, and they get overwhelmed. So I
Yeah.
see this being much more sustainable for you in terms of the membership, so I am all about this structure. I think it's really, really smart. What questions do you have for me, or what do we need to talk through in order to really solidify this for you?
I guess maybe in my mind, so what
Mhm,
I've been playing with and is a lifetime, or let me rephrase that. I heard it said once, a one-time fee.
mhm.
So the one-time fee would be upon joining, and that could have payment plans with ongoing access. And in my mind, I feel that that can work and would be so, the best way to describe it is, you know, energy is something that's a commonality with a lot of people with autoimmune disease. You know, we need to preserve our energy. And so I often coach and teach on, you know, minimizing all these decisions that we make all day,
Yeah,
every day. And again, back to habits. How do we automate the things that are helping us? And so I love the idea of showing up and making that decision once and not having to come back to it over and over again this month. Or do I want to re-up? Do I want to do that? But instead, you know, you're investing, and then you always have a place to come for the how. Because there's a lot, you know, I teach the what and the why, because that helps us understand, it helps us know our why as well as why these things work. But
mhm.
how is the part that takes time, and is the falling and getting back up and having a place to come for the how. So I guess
Yeah,
I'm curious on, you know, how that sounds.
yeah, let's talk it through. So,
Okay.
tell me more about why you intentionally corrected yourself when you said lifetime and changed the language to one-time payment.
So I've purchased lifetime membership options
Mhm.
like this, and I love them, I have to say. From usually it's, you know, more of a business
Yep,
membership, but being able to just dip in when I need it, you know, that kind of thing. Lifetime access, for everything from my understanding, is lifetime of the program. So
correct. Yep.
of course it would be as long as I have the program. Um, I just would, of course, make that so clear, but I would want to make sure that people did not feel um, any sort of way if for some reason the program is no longer. So I was
Yeah.
trying to think of other ways to say, is it ongoing access and a one-time fee versus, you know, what that would look like.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, I think this is such a smart idea because what I understand is by having the membership absorb the Autoimmune Academy. This gives you some structure to when you'll really do an enrollment push and when you won't. It also really serves your clients.
Mhm.
So I just think that's really wise. And I think what I'm understanding here with the one-time fee and a payment plan, you're just taking care of people. Now they're in, and when I've got the bandwidth to learn a lot, it's there. Maybe I could go through a season where I'm feeling really great and just kind of don't want to think about my autoimmune
Yeah.
systems for a while. I don't feel like I'm wasting my money. So it feels very client centered. I think and one-time fee with a payment plan, you are still maintaining price accessibility. So for me, Amy, it's ticking all of those boxes that I know are important to you. I think the question becomes, how much do you charge in order for
And
the business to be
yes.
profitable?
Well, and also, the volume, because one time, and if people are just coming in, and I think the immediate thought would be, oh, does the volume get too big? But knowing that people come, go, they don't have this pressure to come to every weekly call. I'm going to be there every week. And I'm going to be, of course, recording and they can watch. But I don't think that I'm going to hit a volume issue for quite a while. I can always add more calls if I need to, and it can always grow and evolve within that. And the other piece I wanted to mention is then I would love to be able to open up one-on-one spots from my community for those
Yeah.
seasons that they do want to go all in, and those seasons that they do want to take a personalized approach. Um, and we kind of get to jump in from a great starting place because we're kind of speaking the same language.
Yeah. What I can tell you in terms of volume, the first 100 days that someone is in a long-term program are crucial. The
Okay.
research points to that being this very important window of time. And when you onboard people thoroughly and you really care for them in those first 100 days in particular, then their feet are on the ground. They become much more self sustained and eventually become leaders inside of your program.
Yeah.
So, you let's cross this bridge when you come to it and actually invite the problem in. Wouldn't it be a great problem for
Yeah.
you to realize, oh, oops, when I enroll for a new cohort, I have just discovered that I can't do that well for more than, I'm making this number up, 40 people at a time, for example. So just know that you will learn how much is too much and how to then make adjustments so it isn't too much as you hit those milestones.
Yeah. Okay.
But we have some people in the hive who, I don't know if you've ever had this experience where suddenly someone is getting coaching from me and you're thinking, who is this person? I have never seen them on a call.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
kind of lifers, right? They've been in the program. It's worked so well for them. It makes sense to stay because they know they can jump in and get coaching when they need it. So
Yeah.
that's the evolution a lot of your clients will also be on.
Yeah, and two of my dreamiest clients, they just soared after,
Yeah.
3, 6 months together. And they come back, they check in, they want, those, for this came up, and I just want to ask these questions. That happens too, where, something happens and I don't want people to have to Google things and
Mm-hmm.
get confused. And so to have that to be able to touch in on
Yep.
would be the goal.
Yeah. So just look forward to bringing in more and more infrastructure as the membership grows. But that hearing me use that word probably makes your heart sing because that's
Love it.
like totally your jam. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
you're
Good.
absolutely correct. And what's wild is I was sitting in are you familiar with lean training?
No.
It's more in the
Mm-mm.
business world, but it's in healthcare as well. And it's based on a no error system, comes out of Toyota, and it's just these lean principles is how you um, really strive for excellence with no striving for excellence in healthcare, in automobiles, because you have to keep people safe. And the two principles, so I'm sitting in this training while a couple weeks ago while I'm going through all this, and number one is eliminate waste.
Yeah.
and you have all these structures to eliminate waste. And I'm thinking, well, paying each time is way, so kind of how you said, setting them up for success. And
Yeah.
so that felt true. And the second one is just continuous improvement. And I thought, I am committed to continually improve on this thing. And so if this membership is open and it's they have it for the life of the membership, that's going to be my, as if I needed more of a reason, but that continuous improvement, and I have that platform to just get better and better for them. If that
Yeah,
makes
and practice that excellence. Yeah, that's
That would
awesome.
have been a more fun story if lean meant something to you, maybe. But
No,
if
I
any listeners
understand.
know lean,
Yeah. Okay, so what concerns so what's coming up for me, and it was something you shared about, meeting expectations. So if it is access for the life of the program, how are you going to communicate that and really meet people's expectations?
I think that in my mind, I know they're paying for the price of what the course would be.
Yeah.
So I know the value of coming in for that 10 or 12 weeks and um, getting, so much out of it in that way.
Mhm.
So everything above that to me, I feel is icing on the cake and I want it to be a long lived icing on the cake for them. I have no intention for it not to be. But I guess I don't know if I communicate that and say this would have been the cost of the just the program, or if that's even necessary. Um,
Yeah, what's coming up for me is less about the cost and more about their experience, right?
mm,
I don't want you to ever find a day where you have to Google something,
yeah,
right? So here's why you pay once and then you have access to the program. I wouldn't say for life. It's you have access to the program for as long as the program is here, right? I had in my former life, I was a coach for actors. I have not done a single thing with actors in 7 years. I got an email from an actor last week saying, like, "I tried to log into this program," which is totally out of date now. Like, please don't log into that program. It's not gonna help you.
yeah,
And it I should have lifetime access, and I had to explain to them the distinction between the life of the program and the life of the person.
yeah.
So I think the word lifetime can get misunderstood.
So maybe I was on a good path to try to avoid using lifetime. So
Agreed.
ongoing access.
Yeah, you have ongoing access. The program is here, and for as long as it's here, you've got full access to it. And the reason we do this is so you never have to Google your symptoms, so you never feel like you're wasting money, so you can pop in and pop out as you need to because you've got a life to live, and so you don't miss out on the essential training and tools you need to feel better and live longer.
Yeah. And I think that another piece of this is I want to have a call before they join. I really
Mhm.
want to connect with them. I want to make sure that it's what they're looking for. And it feels like this structure, I can really explain that and answer their questions about it on a call
Mhm.
compared to the membership. The membership, I was still for a while offering calls, and I don't know how sustainable that was
Yeah.
for the lower, but I really want to connect with them
Yeah.
beforehand, get that baseline. Yeah,
That's aligned with the story you shared about
yeah,
running your business according to lean, right?
yeah.
Um, you're kind of preaching to the choir because I love having one-on-one time with every person before they enter the hive. It's really important to me.
Well, and
So
another oh,
mhm.
I just it's I have another unicorn thing is I worried when I had was, now have 10, 12 clients. Oh, am I gonna get those details? I do have a brain that remembers people, things, stories, so I know that call that I can serve them better moving forward, getting to
Yep.
connect connect with them in that way.
Yeah, completely. So
Yeah.
one other consideration that's coming up for me around one payment ongoing access, when you're offering a payment plan, and this is yes, in your terms of service, but I also say it on my sales calls because we have a 12-month payment plan. It's a 12-month program. And so I say very distinctly, you're entering into a 12-month mentorship program. This is not a monthly membership, it's a 12-month contract. So letting people know who are on the payment plan that it's not like Netflix where you can cancel anytime. You'll just have to
Okay.
really articulate that in a kind and clear way because that could 6 months in, if I'm on like a 9-month payment plan, 6 months in, I could maybe forget that this isn't a membership.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And if they want to, let's say they're 6 months in and they do reach out and they want to, then that just becomes a question of this was the agreement, or do you find you let them cancel?
Amy, this is so tricky, right?
Yeah.
For a whole host of reasons. Number one, integrity, right? If I'm saying one thing and then behind the scenes doing something else, that is not cool.
Okay.
Number two, fairness, right? So the people who don't have to keep their contracts are the ones who have a lived experience where they feel that they are in a position to get out of their agreements, right?
Yeah.
I'm like tiptoeing around that a little bit, but I think you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there's that piece. Then there's the piece of, boy, when it gets tough is when you need this program most. So am I really serving you? That can get so slippery so fast. And then there are those unique and rare circumstances where the most appropriate thing is to let someone out of their contract. So I can tell you inside the Hive, we rarely, I actually shared this on a call earlier this month when were you there when we had that whole conversation about discounts not being scholarships?
I got to
Yeah.
watch the recording.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
such a juicy conversation.
Mhm.
So, maybe twice a year, we will have someone who the smart thing to do is to either pause their payments and their access to the program, or we've only ever had one person leave. My point is, we're very clear in our languaging, right? So when you enter in, the contract is crystal clear, right? It's 365 days we're working together.
Okay.
When someone does reach out saying they need to stop or whatever that might be, we give them the opportunity to decide if their circumstance meets our unique and rare circumstances criteria,
Yeah.
which we spell out for folks. We had a Hive member whose home was destroyed in a hurricane. They
Yeah.
needed to not be in the Hive for a little while, right?
Understood.
But
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about. So, what I
Yeah.
find is when we're really clear in the language, really clear about, uh, really clear in guiding folks who are asking to break the contract, guiding them to an integrity filled decision about whether or not it's right for them to cancel. I feel so good
Okay.
about people staying, people pausing, people leaving, because my communication is so intentional around that.
And I think I'd love to offer 12 months, or 6 months even. Um, I just didn't know if that was too long to offer.
Well, here's what I can tell you from my own experience. Number one, a 12-month payment plan is going to allow you to have a more profitable business. You have to keep that in mind because you could have people 6 years from now you're coaching them and they paid forever ago. And if they only paid $1,000, that's not making much sense, right? Um, so that's a consideration for the business. But the other thing I will tell you is you will have more enrollments with a longer payment plan. You will also have a higher rate of defaulted payments with a
Okay.
longer payment plan. What I have found is the number of sales, I'm going to be more concrete. Back in my days when I served actors, I had a program that was $900, which might as well have been 9,000. That was a big investment at the time for that particular audience. The program was 8 weeks long. We had a 10-month payment plan.
Okay.
90% of our students chose the payment plan, and only 10% of those people ghosted on their payments. And it always happened at month 6 or later. So if we're just looking at profitability, that extended payment plan made so much sense for my business.
Okay. Okay. So even if it's 12 months and done, they
Yeah.
still have that option to be able to
Yeah.
lower cost to entry.
Yep.
Um, yeah. And just being clear that it is 12 months and then, okay. Okay.
And I wouldn't even talk about I would try to avoid using the word months as often as you can, because
Okay.
that can get mistaken as membership, right?
Got it.
So it's
Yep.
12 payments billed every 30 days.
Okay. Yeah. A word trick.
So, yeah, but I also just want to narrate this for our listeners. This is what it looks like to be client centered. We're not trying to be tricky here, right? Like, how can we fool people in? No, we're being so clear so that there's no unconscious misunderstanding,
Yeah. Absolutely.
because we don't want to leave a bad taste in anybody's mouth.
No, no. And I
Yeah.
really feel, um, yeah, I feel so, I feel that I am able to serve them and it's a no-brainer.
Yep.
Which is really what I want. I want it to feel like a no-brainer and that they feel supported and like I get where they're coming from.
Yeah. It's beautiful. So good. So, what other questions do you have around this offer?
I think at this point it's more the logistics of going pulling out my old launch type model in terms of what that looks like with hosting a couple webinars.
Hmm.
I also am really leaning into uh, partnering with physician offices
Yeah.
to try to reach people there who are wanting to be able to feel better, and physicians feel at a loss. They leave the office and they say these things that can help, but really it really ends there. And so I actually have a talk at one actually my neurologist office, which is a large center here. And so I love the idea of really just inviting them into a call with me
Yep.
afterwards. um, and I think that would be my one other question, and this may dive into a whole nother world, but because I want to do a call when I am doing classes or webinars, is it do I go into the program or the course or the membership, or do I only say let's get on a call?
There's a happy medium for sure.
Okay.
Okay. So whether, and it's a different process when the event, the class you're teaching is hosted by you versus hosted by someone else.
Okay.
So when you're guest teaching, I would not recommend that the call to action be to apply or get on a call with you. The
Okay.
call to action is going to be get some sort of lead magnet, some sort of free resource. Then they're in a marketing funnel.
Okay.
Okay. When it's your own launch webinar, the call to action is 100% to apply, and they need to know what they're applying for.
Okay.
So you are selling the program, right? You're sharing the 3 C's, right? Your community and highlighting the curriculum and that there's coaching involved. And then you get to give them almost like a free pass. So when I think about when I launched the Hive, I will say something like, here's the good news. I'm not actually asking you to decide about the Hive today. That's not even an option. Even if you know you're in, we have to talk one on one first. And then I explain why. right? So all you need to decide about today is whether or not you want to learn if this program is for you.
Okay.
And then sometimes I'll even say, so if you're 51% sure that the program is for you, apply. We will have a conversation and together we'll decide if it's a yes or if it's a no.
Okay.
But
So I
you,
could
Mhm.
tease Autoimmune Academy as well, or
This is the thing I wanted us to talk about. I think it would be easy for folks to get confused. Well, what is the academy and what is the membership? I
agree.
think the membership should be called the same thing that your course is called, the Autoimmune Academy, or maybe you change the name of the course to be the name of the membership,
Okay.
because the way you might say it would be the reason to enroll now is because we are about to embark on a 10-week intensive together where you're going to regulate your sleep and get more energy and beep, bop, boop. Everyone who joins the membership begins with this course, and you're going to get the chance to do it live as a group.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's like the introductory, that's the core curriculum. But calling them two different things is super confusing for people.
Okay. And logistics wise, it may be too different for right now.
Tell me more about what you mean.
I'm thinking of kind of the way I have it branded and set up. The membership is definitely called Club Habit Hub, which is my podcast is the Habit Hub for autoimmune health, and
Mhm.
so it is hopefully for those who want to take what we talk about on the podcast deeper in the Club Habit Hub. So that's the membership name because I think that's more inclusive of the community and the
Yeah.
coaching. I mean, Autoimmune Academy is feels more like a defined learning experience.
Yeah.
But you are right; it is the pillars within of what
Yeah.
we will coach and talk about.
You know what I'm realizing too is if I'm on a call with you
Hmm.
and I'm inside the program, I can easily understand what the Autoimmune Academy is. So you don't have to change all the slides you've created for that program, right?
Okay.
The Autoimmune Academy can live inside of the Club Habit Hub, right? Did I say that right? It's the Club Habit
Yeah.
Hub? Okay, good.
Yep. Club Habit Hub.
Um, but when you're selling it, please do not make that distinction for people. They'll just be confused. So
I
you're
just
inviting people into the Club Habit Hub, right? And the reason to do it now is we're about to do a 10-week intensive to
okay.
improve your autoimmune health. And then you get into the nitty-gritty distinctions as you onboard people into the program.
Okay. So on the call on the webinar, I don't say Autoimmune Academy.
No, it's just I suddenly what is that? I thought this was the Club Habit Hub. Now I'm confused.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
sort of like, in the Hive, we have module 0 or course
Yeah.
number 0. It would be me taking time to explain course number 0. It's essential once you're inside, but you don't need that information in order to decide if you wanna join the Hive.
To make a decision. And I guess that helps with my sales page
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Great. I'm excited about this Offer 3.0, Amy. It's so client driven. I'm really, really impressed that you've evolved to this. I think it's really great.
Well, I so appreciate feedback, coaching, and guidance along the way, especially hearing over and over center the client, and
Mm.
just is it's like you put that filter on it, and it's like, oh, okay, like the
Yeah.
answer becomes clear. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Good. Well, congratulations. I look forward to seeing your launch happen.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks everybody for tuning in.